You ever have one of those moments where you realize, with sudden clarity, that your entire life just got hijacked by someone else's madness? Because that's how it started for me. Not with some friendly handshake from the neighbors, but with a woman in a suit, wielding a clipboard like it was a weapon, marching up to my driveway, as if she was laying claim to the moon. Welcome to Creekwood Estates, y'all, where the HOA president thinks she's the sheriff, the mayor, and the kingpin all rolled into one. Yeah, that happened. My name's Jonathan Cade, civil infrastructure engineer, married to Sarah, smartest, sanest person I know, and dad to two relentless, messy kids. I thought I was buying peace. I ended up in a suburban Cold War. See, we'd done our time in rentals, places where the HOA sent violation notices for unauthorized mailbox color, or fined us because our daughter's pink tricycle was visible from the sidewalk. You think that's a joke, but it's not. Once, they threatened us over a tomato plant. A tomato plant. So, when my latest project wrapped, a massive highway redesign that paid out just enough, I swore we'd find a home where I didn't have to worry about some self-appointed committee measuring my grass with a ruler. I spent months hunting, not just scrolling Zillow either. I dug up county plats, read zoning overlays, compared parcel maps to satellite images like I was hunting for buried treasure. If a house even touched an HOA boundary, it was a no-go. I wasn't just cautious, I was surgical. And finally, jackpot. A brick two-story, tucked against a thicket of pines at the edge of Creekwood Estates, but not part of it. The lot predated the HOA, grandfathered out of every bylaw, not a single covenant or committee anywhere near it. I checked. Twice. Within a day, we were walking hardwood floors, picturing our future. I handed over cash, signed the deed, and the next morning we rolled up with a moving van. Kids jacked on excitement and sugary cereal. Sarah already unboxing her favorite mugs. I should have known something was up when we'd barely set down a single box before a voice cut through the air. "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?" I turned, and there she was, storming in with the kind of authority only truly entitled people can muster. Late 40s, bottle blonde, tailored suit. Jawline you could measure sidewalk chalk with. "You can't just move in," she snapped. "That house is under review." I blinked, trying to process. Under review by who? I asked. She raised her clipboard like she was about to cite city code. "Creekwood Estates. We're acquiring this property. You're trespassing." Let me back up a sec. Nothing on the deed, nothing in the title search said a damn thing about the HOA. I told her as much, holding up my paperwork like a shield. She scoffed so hard I thought she'd swallow her own tongue. "I personally toured this property last week. I had a verbal agreement pending. This is theft." And then, just to complete the welcome wagon experience, she yanked a box from Sarah's hands. It dropped. Porcelain shattered. My wife's mother's coffee set, gone in a heartbeat. For a second, it was dead silent. Sarah stared, hurt and furious, and our kids just stopped cold. I lost it. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I shouted. She squared up, eyes like daggers. "I am the HOA," she said. "Karen Sherwood, president. And you just made enemies. You know what I mean? Like it was a declaration of war." I stood my ground. "Lady, this property isn't yours. Back off before I call the cops." She didn't even flinch, just dragged her key across my SUV, metal on paint, slow and loud. "There are rules here, and you'll learn them." That was it. I pulled out my phone, started filming, and dialed 911. She retreated, shouting that I wouldn't last a month. For a second, I wondered if she was right. Cops showed up fast, 2 cars, lights spinning. Officer Maddox, tall, stone-faced, the type you'd trust to handle a brawl at a rodeo, checked my documents, looked over the fence line, then nodded. "You're outside the HOA. She's got no claim." His rookie partner just kept looking at the broken coffee set and the deep scratch on my SUV. "You want to press charges?" Maddox asked. I hesitated. Revenge felt good, but I'd learned patience on construction sites. "Not yet. Just document it." He nodded, gave me a card, told me to call if anything escalated. I watched Karen stomp off, muttering to herself, and thought, well, that's the end of that, right? Yeah, about that. Next morning, I found a violation notice taped to my door, official-looking Creekwood Estates letterhead, claiming our beige stone exterior violated HOA policy. Never mind, we weren't in the HOA. Then I spotted it, an orange mesh barrier zip-tied across our driveway. Private access. Creekwood residents only. She was doubling down, fighting with paperwork and intimidation. I called Maddox back. He walked the property, shook his head, muttered, "She's back at it, huh?" I showed him security cam footage. There's Karen, in her bathrobe, flashlight between her teeth, rigging the sign at 2 a.m. Maddox grinned for the first time. That's criminal mischief. You want to press charges now? Yeah, I said. Let's do it. Sarah, meanwhile, had pulled up our lot on the county GIS, highlighting the boundary line. Our property, plain as day, wasn't part of Creekwood. Maddox added it to his report. If she steps foot here again, call me directly. But Karen wasn't even close to done. She started sending emails, official-looking but pure fiction, summoning me to mandatory compliance hearings. She even left flyers in neighbors' mailboxes calling me a hostile infiltrator. Then, one afternoon, I found a chain barrier across my driveway, padlocked on both ends, with a sign reading, "Violators will be towed." I just laughed. This woman was nuts. New officer showed up, took one look, and said, "You want me to cut it?" I nodded, but told him to photograph everything for evidence. That's how deep in the weeds we were. By then, Sarah was exhausted, the kids were nervous, and I was on first-name terms with half the county police. Still, I wasn't backing down. Not when I was in the right. It got wilder. A state investigator showed up, folder in hand, asking about unauthorized regulatory signage. I sat him down, showed him every document, video, and fake violation. He shook his head, muttering about disciplinary action and maybe criminal referral for Karen. That was the first time I realized this wasn't just about me. Karen had been targeting others, too, using her position like a cudgel. Then came the twist. Greg, my neighbor 2 doors down, called one evening. "You might want to see what's going on out front," he said, real low. Sure enough, Karen had installed more signs, started a whisper campaign, even convinced a couple HOA volunteers to take pictures of my house for compliance. I walked out, told them to back up off my grass, and watched as they practically tripped over their clipboards getting away. It all boiled over when Karen sent a forged cease and desist letter, complete with a $12,000 fine and a threat to place a lien on my home. My lawyer nearly spit his coffee out laughing. "She's cooked," he said, and we filed suit for harassment, defamation, property damage, and fraudulent HOA claims. The evidence was a mile high. Emails, police reports, surveillance footage, surveyor maps, even Karen's own revised boundaries drawn with a red marker on Google Earth printouts. I mean, who does that? The hearing was electric. The courtroom was packed. Neighbors, bloggers, even local reporters. Karen looked small for the first time, her power suit swapped for a rumpled beige blazer, shoes scuffed. The judge read out the charges like a grocery list of everything wrong with HOAs gone rogue. Trespassing, document forgery, destruction of property, attempted extortion, impersonation of legal officers. The bombshell? Forensic IT found over a dozen forged notices sent to other homeowners. Not just me. I wasn't the first. I was just the first to fight back. Karen got 18 months in county jail, 85 grand in fines, and a lifetime ban from any HOA office in Georgia. Creekwood Estates got placed under a state-appointed administrator for a year. As I walked out of court, someone from the crowd clapped. I just shook my head and headed home, past the spot where Karen's residents-only sign used to hang. Next weekend, I put up a new sign. This property is not part of Creekwood Estates. Trespassers will be prosecuted. We have high-res cameras and a very good lawyer. Sarah rolled her eyes, the kids laughed, and I felt a rare sense of peace. But you know, that line between order and chaos, it's thinner than you think. And out here, sometimes the only way to keep your home is to fight for it, tooth and nail, against folks who can't stand to lose control. So tell me, who do you think was right? The guy with the deed, or the self-appointed queen of the cul-de-sac? Drop a comment below, smash that like if you've ever dealt with HOA madness, and share your take. When does community become control? And who gets to draw the line?